In the last video, we talked about the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. So the challenge for lighting showrooms is that the lake we've been fishing in has become overcrowded. We've got big e-tailers and even box stores that are kind of like these commercial fishing vessels that have been coming in, and they're starting to just throw down the low price net and gobble some of the fish out of the lake that we have been fishing. We've also got manufacturers that are coming in and fishing direct, taking away some of the most profitable designers and contractors. And so this has become an overcrowded lake. And let me tell you what the solution isn't. The answer isn't to try to do what these other guys are doing. That's just a race to the bottom. That will commoditize our industry and our product. The answer is to move the fish out of the overcrowded public lake and down here into our own private lake, where we're the only ones who are fishing. And here's how you do that. It's a model that we've come up with that we call the footprint formula. And I want you to think about it. There's a step-by-step process that moves potential lighting buyers out of the public lake, and then they move step-by-step down here into our own private lake. And the model is pavers. So think about those little garden stones that you put to make a path from point A to point B. Those are called pavers. And so the P in pavers is for profile. One thing that is not going away is the internet. People still use, and they will continue to use, the internet to research and decide whether they want to do business with a company. And so let's just be real. Most of us as lighting showroom owners, we need to have a better online persona, a better profile, a better presence. And we're not doing that really well. So there are a number of places that people go to decide whether a company is worth doing business with and whether they make customers happy. Google reviews is a huge one and getting bigger. Social media, Facebook and Instagram, for example. And then our own website. Are they engaging? Is it getting content out there that people are interested and willing to come back? So here's a couple of the things. We won't go through all of it, but here are a few of the things. On Google, we want at least 50 positive reviews at least a 4.5 average star rating. When you've got that, statistics show that people are much more likely to engage and come down and at least explore doing business with you. On social media, just as an example, on Facebook, we want at least 2,000 followers. Once you've got 2,000 followers, a number of things happen, but one of the most important is that people now start to take you seriously because you're a place that others are going to, and we're social creatures, right? And so we want at least 2,000 followers. Oddly enough, there's a couple of strategies that you can do to bring followers in rapidly. One of the showrooms that we were working with, they had about 200 followers, and then about a month later, we had them up over 4,000. And it's not that hard. You just have to know what you're doing to bring followers in. So we want more followers, but then our own websites. We need to do a better job with our own websites. One of the websites we worked on, they were only getting a couple of hundred visitors per week, and on average, they were spending about 32 seconds on the page. So they weren't spending a lot of time engaged. So then we brought some consultants in and a bunch of professionals and worked on it, specifically with the idea of engagement. How can we keep people here, right? Now they're getting well over 2,000 unique visitors per week, and they're spending an average of 8 minutes and 37 seconds on the site. And so once the profile is ready, now we're not going to make the mistake that I see not just lighting showrooms make, but a lot of small businesses. They go out, and I think the A is just advertise, send out coupons and discounts and sales and all that other stuff. There's way too much noise now for that to work. So the next thing that we do is what's called attention testing. This is where social media, for example, can be a huge blessing and a huge tool for us. What we do is we go out and we put hundreds and hundreds of pieces of little easy to interact with content out on Facebook, for example. And we use what we call the dirt rule. You can go down and get dirt for super cheap, maybe a penny per cup or something like that. And so we kind of use that as a gauge. We say, okay, we're going to put some content out on on Facebook. Let's say that we wanted to try to promote fans. We're going to run 5 different pictures with fans, and we're going to have a little thing that says, like it, love it, or dump it. This is one that we actually ran. Like it, love it, or dump it. And we're going to run all 5 of those. And we're only going to spend maybe $5 or $6 on Facebook for each of those 5. And what we're looking at is how many engagements do we get for each of those. And our objective is to see the one that is getting the most engagement that falls below what we call the dirt rule. And so if it's less than about a penny per engagement, so one of them we ran, for example, cost us like $8, and we had over 10,000 engagements with the image that we put out there. Okay, that's a winner. So you take all of them that aren't capturing enough attention and you throw those in the garbage can, but you keep those that capture a lot of engagement. That tells us that whatever was in that particular iteration is capturing attention. People are interested, right? And so you do enough testing to now graduate the winners down here, and we still don't just nail customers between the eyes with a special or a sale. Now we're going to send in some kind of a value add. And you've probably seen these where you can go to a particular landing page and download a report, for example. So going back to the ceiling fan example, we've tested a whole bunch of these different value adds. And the one that really worked was the 3 things you absolutely must know before buying your next ceiling fan. And it was just a free guide that people could go get. They put in their email information, and then they could download the guide for free. That was the one that got quite a bit of interaction. And what we see then is when somebody takes that value add, what that signals to us is that not only is it interesting, not only did they scroll stop, as they were looking at Facebook, but now they're actually in the buying mode because they're getting this guide that says, okay, what should I consider when buying a ceiling fan? Okay, so now once we've established that they're probably in the buying mode, now we're going to make them an offer. But it's not going to be any kind of offer. It's an extraordinary offer. There's a couple of keys to this the extraordinary offer. First one is it has to be truly extraordinary. So the one that we used was 50% off. Here are these 7 ceiling fans. Pick the one you like, which just happened to be the one that captured the most attention, by the way. We made a special deal with the vendor that was the manufacturer of that fan. And then we said, okay, 50% off the regular price for any of these 7 ceiling fans. And here's the key, another key to the extraordinary offer. The customer must visit your showroom. They must put footprints in your showroom in order to take advantage of it. So for example, with the ceiling fan offer where we offered 50% off, we say, okay, you can buy it online, which is what we wanted them to do. When they're signaling that they're ready, let them pay. Okay, so they paid for it, but you must come down to our showroom to pick it up, right? We want footprints in the showroom. There is nobody better on planet Earth at making customers feel valued and giving customers a positive experience than lighting showrooms. There's just nobody else that's even close. And if we can get them there, get them working with our people, then we have a very good chance of being able to move them down here and to become family with us. And that's what we're good at, is relationships. The internet and the big box stores, they're never going to compete with us on that. So every time we do an extraordinary offer, it must always require footprints into the showroom. And once they get there, now we're going to turn them into royalty. Okay, and here's what I mean by that. We have for example, this is a magnet that we gave out. This is what we call Wholesale Contractor Pricing Club, or the Wholesale Rewards Club. And all that means is that as a thank you for coming in and visiting us, and as a thank you for coming in and taking this offer, we're going to give you a free membership into this wholesale club. And there's a whole bunch of benefits that come with this type of a membership. Again, what we're trying to do is make them family, make them royalty. You get wholesale pricing. Most of us as showrooms, we discount off of IMAP anyways, and so just formalize that. Here you go, wholesale pricing. We're going to have member-only events. They're going to be things that, here's one that we've used with great effect. We get down to the end of the year and we have a bunch of stuff that we're considering throwing away or donating for a tax write-off. Instead of doing that, you're going to make $100 coupons. You're going to send those out to your royalty club. Hey, for the following week, you can come down to the showroom and pick out $100 worth of stuff from the things that we were going to use as a tax write-off anyways. You will get a huge crowd with that kind of thing, and they will love you for it, right? So we're going to turn them into royalty. And then the final key, the final piece of this, is we are going to do special member-only things about once a quarter. We're going to do some kind of a special member-only thing. We are not going to irritate the people in our private lake by just emailing them a newsletter once a week or emailing them some coupon all of the time. We're going to be smart about it. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, about once a quarter, you're going to get an email from us that says, come on down and here's the $100 overstock coupon, for example, or some of the best things that we've done. We went down and got, sometimes they'll have like these Christmas tree lighting where some lane will be lit up and they charge $1 to drive your car through it. We'll go buy 100 of those and we're going to send them off to our members as a thank you for being a part of the family and part of the wholesale royalty club. Or we're going to do things like flash sales where you can go online for 24 hours. Everything you see on this page is 50% off. Here's the key to this bottom part is that when you've got this special member only benefit, not only do you get to benefit as a buyer, but you can invite your friends and family to benefit as well. So if they happen to need lighting for their home, if they're building, if they're remodeling, they can use your account to buy at the wholesale price that you get. And then when they come in, we're going to turn them into royalty too. And so here's how there's two ways that we like to think about this footprint formula. The first one is the footprints, the steps, the pavers to get people from here down to here. And this works. It just works, right? It brings customers down, and they are loyal. They'll drive right on past your competitors, and they'll click right on past every one of the e-tailers to come to you, or at least come to you first, right? But the second thing that this does is it expands your footprint much more effectively than what we used to do. So what showrooms used to do is, here's your showroom, and we'd get this big megaphone, and we'd blast our message out, hoping that it was loud enough that we could cover a big enough area to capture enough attention, right? That worked to some degree for some, but the economy has changed. And so what this does is it says, okay, we're going to have a customer comes in, and they're part of this club now. They're going to go back out here to their neighborhood. They're going to be kind of like a node, or I like to think of these like little LED diode that's sitting out here. And another one's going to come in, and they live over here. Another one has a pool of friends over here. And this is not just a physical neighborhood. It's their online social neighborhood and everywhere else that they interact. Another one's over here, another one lives over here. And then what's happening here is once a quarter, we're sending out these reminders that you're a special member. So think of that like a button that we're pushing. And now each of these Royalty Club members has a little mini speaker, right? So every time we push this button, if there's anybody that these guys know of that needs lights, could replace a ceiling fan because it's making noises, they're going to make noise about it. They're going to tell their friends and family, hey, I happen to have this membership. Why don't you come down with me and let's go take care of that ceiling fan that's making noises. This is absolutely like Novocaine. By the time your competition realizes what's happened, it's too late. It's just too late. Because now you've got this pool, and the objective, what we've seen, is that once you get to about 200, when you have 200 members down here in your own private lake, now there is a steady stream of deals. Now you've got enough people that are building or they're remodeling, and so large deals start to come steadily as a result of this, and you just keep building up. Now, the first month you do something like this, you might get 8, 10 members. There's a couple of things, little tricks that we've done to actually speed that up. But there's, you get 8 or 10. The next month you might get 10 or 12. It builds on itself, right? It actually accelerates. Next month you might get 20. But each time, so 8 builds to 20, and then it's up to 40, and then it's up to 60. But once you get to 200, this starts to work. This footprint starts to spread, and it's almost unstoppable, right? And so now the e-tailers can do all they want, and the manufacturers can do everything that they want to try to sell direct. But we're family now. And so customers now will go right on past every other option and come to us first. And that's what the pavers model does, is it basically makes lighting showrooms the drivers again. And it spreads the message out so that our footprint is wider, and so that customers will basically be fishable only to us.